Hi there everybody, Keith Schweigert here, along with Jeff Reinhardt from LankSports.com. Week 4 of the Lancaster-Lebanon League football season is officially in the books. We've started off section play this week, a couple big games, and Jeff and I are here to run them down for you. Let's start in section 1 first with the game I did, one of our spotlight games this week. In West Lawn, it was Wilson big over McCaskey, 34-7 Bulldogs. Just a dominant effort by Wilson in every aspect of the game. They ran right through McCaskey's defense. They limited McCaskey to, I believe, 81 total yards. Really completely shut down the Tornado rushing game. Disappointing effort for the Tornado. I thought this game was going to be fairly competitive, although I did think Wilson was going to win it. I thought McCaskey would give him a challenge. Really never materialized. It was 21-0 at the half. McCaskey's only touchdown came on a gift special teams gaffe by Wilson, where a punt snap went over the punter's head and McCaskey came up with it and ran it into the end zone. Other than that, really not much to be happy about if you're a McCaskey fan. It was just a complete dominating effort by the Bulldogs. They're 1-0 in the section, and they look like they're the team to beat again.
Wow, 404 to 81 in yards.
Yeah.
Wow. Two things I'm curious about Wilson. A lot of flags against Wilson tonight.
A lot of flags against both teams tonight. It was one of those games that just sort of ground on. Wilson had 10, I believe. McCaskey had to be right up around there as well. Yeah. There were a lot more penalties that were declined on both sides, so it was just one of those games. It didn't seem like it was going to end, really.
Not pretty, not pretty. And how was Seth Klein stepping in for Zweizig?
He looked good. He was 9 of 14 passing. They didn't ask him to do a ton, but when McCaskey really started loading up to stop the run late in the second quarter, because Gillen and Olinger were just running through him at that point, so they crowded the line of scrimmage a little bit more. That's when they let Klein go. He went back and found Julian Carabello for a long touchdown. I think it was 55 yards. Perfect throw. So yeah, he looked very good. I was very impressed with him.
I figured Wilson would play with a chip on its shoulder a little bit without Zweizig. Everybody kind of pointing, can they do it without their quarterback? And
yeah, they did it.
They did it. The next score in Section 1 we better talk about. Hempfield 27, Penn Manor 10. Break them up. Knights not only score, but they win.
Congratulations.
Tip of the cap. We're off your back now, Hempfield. We promise.
It's really been a long season for the Black Knights already. It's nice to see them have some success. And Penn Manor, boy, I knew they were going to struggle a little bit this year when you lose that many players from graduation from the year before. You know it's going to be a bit of a chore, but boy, I did not see this one coming. 27-10 Knights.
No,
wow.
And I know Penn Manor was up early. Julian Alisea had 3 touchdowns, 2 runs, and a catch. They held Penn Manor to 143 yards. Hempfield's defense has been okay. They were 8th best in the league coming in, but, most of the talk was, well, they haven't scored, and their offense is averaging 85 yards a game. So Hempfield finally takes some frustration out, and they win. Warwick, 52, Cedar Crest, 20. Darren Thompson, hello. 3rd week in a row he goes over 200 yards, 219 and 3 touchdowns. Warwick rushes for 425. They go to 3-1, and look out for Warwick.
Yeah, I kind of thought they would be the dark horse pick maybe in Section 1. I think I picked them 3rd, and they're not the dark horse anymore. I think right now, based on what I've seen, and I haven't seen everybody in Section 1 yet, but I would have to say Warwick is clearly the second best team at least.
Might be.
And that Wilson-Warwick game, that could be the Section 1 game of the year right there.
Could be. Right now the Section 1 game of the year will be next week. Warwick will play Township. Township wins tonight 47-32 over Ephrata. Brennan Scott 3 touchdown passes. Kevin Coleman rushes for 2 scores. Blue Streaks pile up 415 yards. I guess Ephrata led that early. Township had to come back and then kind of got one really late.
Yep.
So Warwick Township next week, both 1-0.
Okay.
Interesting.
Let's move on to Section 2 in the game you did, Jeff.
Yes.
Lampeter Strasburg goes into Lebanon, comes up with a big win over the Cedars.
Yeah, million degrees in the press box. Summer was back tonight, by the way.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, Summer made an appearance. 44-33 LS. Pioneers came in as the least penalized team in the league. They had 12 flags for 100 yards.
Ouch.
Not fun. Game wasn't over till 10 o'clock. It just drug and drug and drug. LS, nonetheless, told you this week, if they can capitalize and get a short field, look out. LS scores on its first drive. Lebanon fumbles the kickoff. LS gets a short field and scores. So it's 14-0 before Lebanon breaks a sweat. 473 yards for LS. Nate Shank, 3 touchdown passes and a TD run. He was great. It was 44-19, so LS was really burying them. Lebanon with the air raid came back. Troutman must have attempted about 45 passes tonight with that air raid, I'll tell you what. But LS is legit. Like him a lot. Love the balance. Andrew Stover, their leading rusher, did not play tonight, and he's one of their top linebackers. He had an injury. Didn't miss a beat. LS was great. They go to 4-0. They go to 1-0. And on Friday, they host Cocalico, which, for the first time in 33 years, beat Manheim Central.
Yeah, that's obviously a
Wow.
big score. Cocalico has been gunning for Central for years now. They finally get over the hump and beat them 34-28
Yep.
Eagles. Congratulations to Cocalico.
Awesome. Austin Hartman, 250 yards and 4 touchdown runs. Talked to Mike Williams this week. First thing he said, we got to stop Hartman. If we don't stop Hartman, if he gets 200 yards and more than 2 touchdowns, we lose. Hartman, 250 and 4. Barons lose.
That does it.
How about that? E-Town finally gets a win. They beat Solanco 27-10. Snapped an 0-3 start. Solanco had the number 1 ranked defense in the league coming in and gave up 27. E-Town turned the tables. They held the Mules, get this, to 100 yards of offense. So
Very impressive performance by the Bears. I got to admit, I did not see that one coming.
And that's huge. To be 1-0 is gigantic in this section.
Yep.
It really, really is. Last score from this section, CV 22, Garden Spot 15. Garden Spot led 15-14 late. Anthony Williams gets the go-ahead score with 1:06 left. Bucks finally off the schneid. They win. So they're 1-0.
Yeah, and CB had been struggling for weeks leading up to this, so they got to be pretty relieved to get that first win.
Definitely. Got to be. 3 games in Section 3 tonight. Catholic opens defense of its title easily. 42-7 over Donegal. Rhoda passes for 2, runs for 1. Roman Clay, 2 more touchdown runs. Not a shocker here. Catholic rolls.
Not really. Donegal was up 7-0 in that game,
Yeah.
and then Catholic reels off 42 straight points, and it's a laugher.
So who's going to challenge? How about Anvil Cleona? They beat Pequay Valley 33-28. Ricky Snyder rushes for 244 and 3 touchdowns. The teams combined for about 700 yards. Yet I thought there would be more points in this one. Really, I thought like 68-65. But no, Anvil wins 33-28. And this might be the head scratcher, but hats off to Northern Lebanon. They beat Elko 33-28. Elko led 28-13 at the half. Northern Lebanon scores 20 unanswered in the second half. Colton Ryan goes 60 for a touchdown. Ryan Dobb goes 52 for a touchdown. Roy Wall finally gets a win for the Vikings. Elko 0-4.
Yeah, that's stunning to me. I mean, again, they're another team that lost quite a bit to graduation, so it shouldn't be too surprising that they're struggling. I know their starting quarterback got hurt in week 1, but still 0-4. That's really hard.
And their last 2 weeks, they're up on Lebanon late, and now they lead big at the half against Northern Lebanon, and they can't hold on. One non-leaguer in week 4. The Bubblers, Boiling Springs 35, Columbia 20. Tide hung tough, came back in the second half. Boiling Springs pulled away. Tyler Harrison, the passing efficiency leader in the LL, did play, didn't practice much this week. He's got an ankle. Touchdown run, touchdown pass. Columbia gets 366 yards, but loses. So Columbia wins in week 1. They lost 3 in a row since. There's week 4.
Yep. And again, with looking at Columbia, sort of like Pequay Valley, I think the Achilles heel for them over the last few years has really been the defense. And again, there it is again. So
yep, you got it.
So week 4 is in the books. We can look ahead to next week briefly. Our 2 spotlight games. I think we're going to be doing Warwick and Township, and also
Cocalico.
LS. Those are the big games.
Monster games. Monster.
Yep. So, folks, thanks again for visiting LancasterSports.com this week. Be sure to check with Jeff and I on our blogs and on the site for leading up to next week's games. We'll have all the previews, predictions, and everything else you need. Thanks again, folks. Enjoy your weekend. Have a great night.